What's up, guys? I wanted to talk about Chris Ballard today. And I think Chris Ballard gets a lot of unfair criticism. I always see people complaining about Chris Ballard, but they never say, like, what it is exactly that they don't like about him. Now, I think it's fair to criticize a general manager, but I think you got to look at somebody's record and see what they're really doing if you are gonna criticize them. A lot of the radio guys don't like Ballard, and I think it's a personal thing with them. They just don't like him personally. He's gotten into it with the media a little bit. He's gotten a little bit, there's the whole thing with what's his name? He gets a little chippy with the media. They don't like that. Of course, everyone knows if you do that, they're all gonna be all over you. So he's kind of brought it on himself a little bit, but I don't think you can really hold on to that because overall I think he's doing a good job on the team. You could even look at Samuel Womack, look at how well he's playing. That was kind of a nice find. But anyways, I wanted to actually go through just to compare. I think one of the best things that Ballard does is his drafting. I think he really does find talent in the draft. And just to compare to someone like Ryan Grigson, if you guys remember how bad Ryan Grigson was, all of a sudden Chris Ballard starts to start looking pretty good. Grigson was probably one of the worst GMs in the entire history of the NFL. Honestly, I think he traded Trent Richardson for a first round pick. Oh, here it is right here. The infamous Trent Richardson deal that lost the Colts a first round draft pick. Trent Richardson ended up only averaging 3 yards per carry, 6 touchdowns in 2 seasons. He was terrible, man. The Cleveland Browns knew that Trent Richardson sucked, and they fleeced us, man. The Cleveland Browns did that to Ryan Grigson. What the heck I'd love to know the story behind that because, man, Cleveland, the whole Deshaun Watson's getting rid of Baker Mayfield, they've got to be, at the bottom of the league as far as GM. So the fact that Grigson got fleeced by the Browns is awful. But anyways, look, he was the GM from 2012 to 2016. So yeah. He was fired in January 2017. So he had 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016. He had 5 drafts. So let's just look at these drafts and just see what I'm talking about here. Okay. Now, obviously, I don't give him credit for this one. This one was obvious. Everyone in the entire world was going to pick Andrew Luck. Maybe some people thought RG3 is better. We know that turned out to be wrong, but everyone wanted to take Andrew Luck. Okay, so I don't really even give him credit for that. That's the easiest pick, and I could have made that pick. Anyone could have made that pick. He's the first overall. Andrew Luck is obviously like the biggest can't miss talent in the past 30 years, 20 years maybe. At least the last 10 years. That's Andrew Luck, okay? Easy. Kobe Fleener, second round. I remember I liked Kobe Fleener. I thought he had some potential, but I don't think he didn't really end up having a great career. Seemed like he might. I know he had some nice catches. He did catch the ball. But ultimately, I think it's kind of he had an average career maybe. Dwayne Allen is kind of the same thing. I don't know why we had to go back-to-back tight ends. And these are both, if you're going to go back-to-back tight end, second and third round, you'd hope one of those guys ends up being like a big. I mean, look at the Patriots. They ended up with Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez. Now, that kind of went south, but Gronkowski was awesome for his whole career. These two guys, they had some moments, but kind of average. T.Y., this was a great pick. This is, I think, Grigson's greatest pick in his entire time with the Colts. T.Y. Hilton. He found T.Y. Hilton. I don't know. I think he just got lucky. If you compare all the rest of these players, you'll be like, how did he know? He got lucky. He got lucky with T.Y. Colts got lucky with T.Y. So but I'll say I'll give him a little credit. T.Y. ended up being a great player. Like, awesome. Pro Bowler. Excellent pick here at the end of the third round. That's an excellent pick. Okay, so now 5th round. Josh Chapman. Who is that? I guess he was okay. From Alabama. I don't really remember him. I don't think he really made that much of an impact. Vic Ballard in the 5th round. I think he stuck with the team for a while. I thought Vic Ballard could play a little bit, but not really. I mean, he only played really 1 year, it looks like. Did not play due to injury, so actually that's worse than I thought. He actually was not really, he just had 1 year and wasn't great. 6th round, Levon Brazil. I remember the name because it's a weird name. It's a unique name. I don't remember anything else about it. Justin Anderson. Who is that? No idea who that is. 7th round. This is a nice one. Tim Fugger. Tim Fugger, everyone. Nice pick. Nice pick, Grigson. And then Chandler Harnish. I mean, not much to say about Chandler. He kind of looked good in preseason, I thought. But Mr. Irrelevant. I don't know. He was okay, I guess. But obviously did not have any type of meaningful career. So that was pretty bad. They got T.Y. and they got Andrew Luck. Couple tight ends who were okay. So all in all, I guess 2012 is not too bad, but this is a lot of misses here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You'd hope in these later rounds you at least get some like role players. I don't know, some special teams guys. None of these guys. I mean, Tim Fugger. What? Okay, let's go to 2013. First round pick, Bjorn Werner. Here's where it starts to get bad. Bjorn Werner was not great. I don't think he ever really played. I don't see any stats. I don't think he really played it. I mean, seems like he was always kind of like in development, like, oh yeah, I forgot. Like, oh yeah, Bjorn Werner, he's probably coming along or something. He never played. He never. Drafted in 2013, 2015. He played 10 games and then he was waived in March of the following year. So That is a bad miss on your first round pass rusher, defensive end. First round, that's a bad miss. He never played. He barely played. He did not contribute. That's a bad miss in your first round. So here's third round. I don't know why they didn't have a second. Probably traded it for some nothing. And third round, 24th. Hugh Thornton. Who is Hugh Thornton? Backup. Looks like he, I don't know. He looks like he was just a backup, I guess. Placed on injury reserve. He never, no, did nothing. No career. Went to play in Canada. Khalid Holmes, center. Don't know who that is. Montori Hughes. I remember the name. I don't think he did anything. Selected by the Colts. September 5th, waived. This is the line of a lot of these Greeks in drafts. Hughes was selected by the Indianapolis Colts in the 5th round. Very next sentence. On September 5th, Hughes was waived. That's not a good sign when the bio goes, he was drafted. Then, he was waived. John Boyett, 6th round. Kerwin Williams. I remember I had like a little hope for Kerwin Williams, but ultimately he didn't do it. He couldn't contribute. He couldn't play. Justice Cunningham. Nope. So that's an entire strikeout. This entire draft. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 0 for 7 here. This was a bad draft, 2013. So we get no help from the draft that year. Next year. Now, I think this is the year that we were missing our first round pick because this is where Grigson traded for Trent Richardson. He gave away our first round pick for Trent Richardson. And let's just see who was in the first round that we could have taken maybe. If we had kept our draft pick that year. Yeah, here it is. From Indianapolis via Cleveland, the Eagles end up with the pick. They took Marcus Smith. I don't know who that is. But there's some guys in here. D Ford, did he have he had a decent career, I think. Jimmy Ward, I think, was a pretty good safety. Clinton Dix, I think, was all right. It looks like it was going to be a later first round pick anyways, but DeMarcus Lawrence, geez. Second round, top of the second round, DeMarcus Lawrence went. Joel Bitonio, I think he's a pretty good lineman still. So, of course, there was options. We didn't have the pick that year, though. But anyways, second round, 2014. So we start in the second round. Jack Mewhort. Did he play? Did he ever start? In 2017, so 3 years later, Mewhort started the first 5 games at right guard before suffering a knee injury. Placed on injury reserve. Retired after 4 seasons. Third round, Dante Moncrief. I liked Dante Moncrief at the time, but again, he did not ever really develop. Looks like his rookie year, he had 32 catches, 3 touchdowns. His best year, he had 64 catches, 700 yards, 6 touchdowns. He was okay. Not really ever a significant contributor. Jonathan Newsom in the 5th round. That's a never hear anything about him ever again. Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson. Ulrich John. Okay. We're just going to move on to 2015. 1st round, Philip Dorsett. Oh, another strikeout. So this is now 3 years in a row where they absolutely strike out on their 1st round pick. Because in the 2014 they didn't even have one. So that's 3 years in a row with basically 0 1st round pick. Dorsett, he never could stay on the field. He just was not in the cards for him. He's had good speed, I guess. Doesn't even have his stats here. Oh yeah, here you go. 33 receptions. That was his best year. 2 touchdowns. Very, I say, a below average career for a receiver. 2nd round, Dijon Smith. I don't know who that is. I don't think he ever played. His 1st pick of the 3rd round. Whoa, look how short this bio is now. Placed on an injured reserve before the start of the season. So I don't think he ever even played in a game for the Colts. That's their 3rd round pick, top of the 3rd round. Henry Anderson. Nothing. Clayton Geathers. I think Clayton Geathers actually did play a few seasons, maybe. I think he did start, yeah. In 2016, he started 9 games. 2018. So, yeah, okay. So, this is actually a decent career. He played in 56 games. Not spectacular, pretty average, but he did. I mean, he at least became a starter. Probably was a special teams contributor. So he at least had a contribution. I would say that. David Perry. No, don't think he ever started or played at all. Josh Robinson, don't know who that is. Marlo Herrera. I don't know who that is. Denzel Good. I remember that name. But I don't think he really started ever. No, he didn't play. Inactive for the first 11 weeks of the season. He never played for the Colts. Injured reserve. This is how a lot of these stories go. So let's just look back. So here's another draft that is almost complete. Your best pick in this draft, 2015, was Clayton Geathers. This entire draft almost was a wash again. So this is like 3 years straight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That's 20 picks over 3 years. And you're basically going 0 for 20 in 3 years. 2016, he gets Ryan Kelly. This ended up being Grigson's last season. But in 2016, he did take Ryan Kelly with the first overall pick. Again, this goes in one of his best picks, I think. Ryan Kelly's played in 111 career games. I didn't know he had lost his daughter. That's, man. Heart goes out to Ryan Kelly's. He plays he's been a really consistent center and really I say excellent professional, and always shows up. I think he's battled injuries, but he seems like he always plays, and he's just been solid for him. So I have a lot of respect for Ryan Kelly. I'll give Grigson credit for that, although given his record, I can't really say. I think he probably just got lucky. So that's a good pick. TJ Green, nope, he never played. LaRaven Clark, he might have started like one game. I don't think he was not a long-term starter at all. Hassan Ridgeway, nope. Antonio Morrison, nope. Joe Haig, might have been a backup for a while. Trevor Bates, who's that? Austin Blythe, I don't know who that is. So and then Grigson was fired at the end after the 2016 season. So this was his final draft in 2016. So that is the Colts' history of the Ryan Grigson era drafts. So basically he had Andrew Luck, T.Y. Hilton, and Ryan Kelly. 3 players that he pulled out that were like, and I barely count Andrew Luck to his credit because, again, that was just the obvious pick. Jim Irsay made that pick. Ryan Grigson didn't make it. Grigson would have taken RG3, but he had to deal with his owner telling him to take Luck. Denzel Goods from Mars Hill. What is Mars Hill? Mars Hill University. So maybe you wonder why I'm spending time on these later round picks. It's because you can get good talent in the later rounds. You really can. So let's just look at a little bit of Chris Ballard. So Chris Ballard was then hired in 2017. Let's see how Chris Ballard's drafts are doing. Okay, Malik Hooker. Pretty good pick. I think ended up moving on from the Colts, but he's known for being a really good ball hawk. When he gets a chance to make an interception, he has great hands. He catches them. So this was a good pick, I think, first round. Maybe not as good as you would hope, but not all of them are going to be Pro Bowlers. So this was a solid pick. He starts for the Cowboys still today. So Malik Hooker, that's a decent pick. Okay, Quincy Wilson didn't really pan out. Terrell Basham didn't really pan out. Zach Banner, I don't think Zach Banner ever panned out. He's nicknamed the Hulk. Okay. I guess because Bruce Banner, yeah. Okay. Marlon Mack in the 4th round. Marlon Mack. That's a good pick. He ended up having bad injuries. But a 4th round pick, this guy actually became a pretty good running back for the Colts. Had 1,000 yards in 2019. I think he ended up having an injury that really set him back. Yeah, he couldn't ever bounce back from that injury, it looks like, even with other team. But this was not a bad pick. He averaged, in 2018, he averaged 4.7 yards a carry, 9 touchdowns. Next year, 4.4, and he had 8 touchdowns. So I liked Marlon Mack. Grover Stewart in the 4th round of 2017. You recognize that name? This guy's been awesome. Grover Stewart. He's still starting for the Colts. He's like their anchor on their defensive line, kind of. Solid pick, 2017. 5th round, Nate Hairston. Ooh, I don't know about Nate Hairston. Nah, it doesn't look like he really had not much. 5th round, and they also had Anthony Walker. Did Anthony Walker end up? Yeah, Anthony Walker was actually a decent player for the Colts. He played in 73 games, but 2018 to 2020 he was a starting linebacker, and he had pretty good numbers, I think. Not a lot of sacks. He was okay. I think they ended up letting him go, and that was kind of it for him, but gave him about 3 solid years, I think. Solid pick in the 5th round. You get a starting linebacker in the 5th round, that's not bad. 2018 draft, Chris Ballard's 2nd draft, okay. Quentin Nelson. Boom, 1st round. 6th pick, this is a slam dunk pick. This is a home run right there. Quentin Nelson, boom. This guy's been a starting guard forever, and he's like, everyone knows Quentin Nelson. He's like kind of legendary. Still starting for the Colts. Pro Bowler. 2nd round, Shaq Leonard. Things kind of went south with Shaq, but this guy was a serious baller for a few years. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. He gave him 4 years of. Now he did end up kind of like, I don't know. He ended up going. He hired a bad agent, and the guy kind of made him crazy or something. I don't know. Something went wrong with Shaq Leonard, but hey, if you've been watching the Colts the last few seasons, you know this guy was making plays. He had 7 sacks his rookie year, interceptions, forced fumbles. He was a problem for NFL offenses to deal with. So that's a nice pick too. Despite how it turned out, you get 4 great years like that. That's a good pick. 2nd rounder. The very next pick, 2nd round, 5th overall pick, Braden Smith. Braden Smith, another really good right tackle, I think. He's been starting for I don't know. Signed a 4-year, $72 million contract extension. He's a good starting right tackle now for the Colts, I think. I think he's been dealing with injury problems recently, but he's been good. That's 2nd round pick. Again, 2nd round pick. Well, we had 4 2nd round picks. Kamiko Toure. I don't think he had a long career. I think he maybe played a little bit. Tyquan Lewis, still with the Colts. Still playing pretty significant time for the Colts to even today, this season. I think he's having a good year. I've heard a lot of coaches say good things about Tyquan Lewis. Nyheim Hines. He contributed well for the Colts for a few years, and then they ended up trading him. They traded him to get Zach Moss, and then Zach Moss became a pretty good player. So this was a good pick too. Nyheim Hines never became like a real reliable running back for the Colts, but that's a nice pick. He was a nice player. I think he had some good returns. He was a good pick. I count that as a pretty good pick in the 4th round. I measure these two by the 4th round. If you got Nyheim Hines in the 4th round, that's a pretty good pick. Fountain. Yeah, Fountain never worked out. I was disappointed by that, I think. Jordan Wilkins, he was like he's not really Deion Kane. Yeah, Deion Kane didn't really play out. That was 6th round. And then look at this, 7th round. Last pick of the 7th round. Zaire Franklin, dude. Okay. Now this is a nice draft here, 2018. You got Quentin Nelson, Shaq Leonard, Braden Smith, Taekwon Lewis, Nyheim Hines, Zaire Franklin. I don't think I need to say much about Zaire. He's like the leader. He's like the captain of the Colts. He's like the leader of the defense. He's awesome, you know. He's out there. He got him in the 7th round. Ryan Grigson would have taken Bob Bugger. 2019 draft. Rock Ya-Sin. I don't know what happened with Rock Ya-Sin. They ended up trading him. I thought he was a pretty good player. I think he is still a decent player, but who knows what happened there. Ben Banagoo. Nah, that didn't work out. Paris Campbell. Pretty, I'd say below average. Okereke in the 3rd round. This was a good pick. I think one of the biggest mistakes that you could criticize Ballard for is that he didn't keep Okereke, and instead they signed Shaq Leonard. Because I wish we had Okereke right now. And you see, you know, Leonard, they just released him. So this is one, but nobody criticizes Ballard for this. It's all like just made up other stuff. So that's a good pick in the 3rd round. Kerry Willis, not great. Marvel Tell. EJ Speed in the 5th. He's been he was a great special teams contributor. Now he's starting linebacker for the Colts. Jerry Green, don't know who that is. Jackson Barton, Javon Patterson, don't know who that is. So I'd say this was one of Ballard's least successful drafts in 2019. 2018 was awesome. 2017 was okay. Acceptable. 2019, 2019 could have been better, I think. But you did pull out EJ Speed and Okereke, who was great for a few years. He ended up leaving to go to the Giants to sign for more money. So, but at least they pulled out some players. Paris Campbell, I always thought he would be better than he was. Rock Ya-Sin, they traded him. Who did they get in return for him? This wasn't a total wash. They had some chances there. 2020. This looks like another home run draft right away. Michael Pittman Jr. in the 2nd round. 2nd round, they take Michael Pittman Jr. What do I have to say about? I mean, this speaks for himself. Jonathan Taylor. Great pick. Julian Blackmon. Okay. Awesome. Becoming a great starter. He just had the game-winning interception last week. Jacob Eason, didn't really work out. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. Danny Pinter, I don't think he didn't quite work out. Isaiah Rodgers in the 6th round, man, that was such a nice steal. If he could have just stopped gambling. The FanDuel got to him. All those commercials, they got to him. He was watching too much TV, I guess. But this was a great pick. It's unfortunate what happened. Everybody wants to criticize Ballard for the defensive backfields. Well, they lost their... I mean, this guy was in line for a big contract. He really screwed up. That's on him, man. He shot himself in the foot. Isaiah Rodgers was... If we had Isaiah Rodgers right now... Oh, my gosh, man. It's sad what happened. That's crazy. And then the last two. But that was 6th round pick they got. Rodgers. Desmond Patman, don't know. Glasgow, whatever. This is still an amazing draft, man. You got a Pro Bowl, basically number one receiver, Pro Bowl starting running back, Blackman. Great draft. 2021, Kwity Paye. Nice pick. First round. The dude is a pro. Odebango. I'm not sure. I think he stuck around for a little bit. Kylan Granson's still around. Sean Davis, don't know. Ellinger. And then Will Fries. Get well soon, Will. But here's another great draft, I think. Kwity Paye's first round, that's a hit in your first round pick. Granson, he's been solid. He catches the ball. They haven't been using tight ends a lot this year, but I think Granson's a good pick. And then Will Fries in the 7th round. Yeah, he had a bad leg injury this week, but Will Fries has been good, man. He's a starter. That sucks. But that's a nice draft, too. 2022, Alec Pierce. Boom. Second round. 21st pick in the second round. 53rd overall. Jelani Woods, man. I forgot about Jelani Woods. Why is he not playing? I don't know. Has a lot of potential, it seems like, but he just doesn't play. Bernhard Raimann. Raimann, I think, struggled a little early on, but he has become a really good starting left tackle for the Colts. Nick Cross. Boom. Again, this is 2022. They take Raimann, Nick Cross, Alec Pierce, Drew Ogletree. Rodney Thomas makes plays. On special teams, he started for several games. This is another nice draft. All contributing players. All these guys stick around. Except for Curtis Brooks. I'm not sure what happened there. And then, these are the more recent drafts. You recognize a lot of names, but I think Latu is an awesome pick. Richardson, we'll see. Juju Brents, maybe. Josh Downs has been awesome. So my whole point is that Chris Ballard is really doing a pretty good job. And if you just compare these drafts, it is night and day between the amount of contributing players that Ballard was able to pick up. I still can't believe this. What was the one? Yeah, 2013 was a complete whiff. Oh, man, that draft is bad. So, yeah, just look. If you're going to criticize Ballard, actually pick out something that makes sense. You could say that they should have kept Okereke over Shaq Leonard. That's the biggest complaint you could make, I think. I mean, there's other. You can kind of nitpick and say, well, this could have happened, but the NFL is like, it's like balancing, like, it's such a juggle where you're trying to fit everything in, and it's not easy. So things have happened. It was unfortunate they had Andrew Luck retire right at the beginning of the 2019-2020 season, I think it was. They signed Shaq Leonard, and then he kind of like melts down for some reason. Jonathan Taylor does his little antics with the holdout. Like, there's been issues. Isaiah Rodgers decides to go get on DraftKings. It's like some weird issues that they've been dealing with, and maybe you could say that Ballard is ultimately responsible for all that. But think it's been some weird luck for the Colts. So overall, you really can't complain about Chris Ballard. But anyways, that's all I got for you today. Let me know if there's anything you want me to talk about in the comments. Have a good Wednesday.